What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 1 of Krakens Comics. I've been wanting to do this on my channel for a long time. What we're going to be doing is a monthly review of all things nerd. So movies, TV shows, comic books. If it's a part of nerd culture, we're going to go over it here on the show and full on spoilers for everything. Here's your spoiler alert. And what better month to start than the month of March, because there was a lot going on. We're going to start with movies, and we had Logan drop at the top of the month on March 3rd. And this is the movie that we've been dying to see, an R-rated Wolverine film. I think with the success of Deadpool, we're going to see a lot more of top-tier comic book characters in R-rated films. I mean, we've had things like Sin City and Watchmen and 300, but I'm talking about benchmark, foundation-type comic book characters in R-rated films. Now, this movie was a proper send-off for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It was the best Wolverine ever made, and we got to give it up to Patrick Stewart, who did an amazing job as a demented Professor Xavier. It just made me laugh to see him eat Pringles and give Wolverine the finger while dropping F-bombs. So we got a little bit of Old Man Logan and a little bit of X-23 Laura Kinney, who was played amazingly by Daphne Keane. That little girl was no joke. And the violence was top-notch. Again, an R-rated Wolverine film, so we get to see him chopping off limbs and heads, and he's cursing, he's drinking. There was no post-credit scene. Seemed to be a little bit of confusion early on, because they said that there was one, and then director James Mangold confirmed on Twitter that there wasn't. I kind of feel like when you leave the movie theater, one of the first things you should do when you call your friends is be like, the movie was good, the movie was bad, there's a post-credit scene, so that way they don't waste 10 minutes of their life. 1 week later, we had Kong Skull Island release, and it came out strong right out of the gate, making over $60 million. In fact, it did beat Logan for the #1 spot in the box office. I saw it in 3D IMAX, and it's cool to see a 200-foot monkey fight half dinosaur, half lizard monsters, but there was nothing really to this film. I liked it, but with the success of 2014's Godzilla, it's no-brainer that Hollywood is going to make the Kong vs. Godzilla movie in 2020. But of course, Kong has to get his own movie first. One of the things I liked about this movie is that usually in a monster film, you don't get to see the creature until later on. There's always that one scene where like a guy falls into the giant footprint, and everyone is always like, hey, what do you think made that giant footprint? And then there's always the tough guy who's like, whatever it is, it's big. Soon as the characters arrive at Skull Island, Kong reveals himself, and he's like, what are you guys doing here? Who are you? Get off my island, or I'm going to throw trees at you. One of the things that helped me through the 2 hours was Brie Larson, who I'm not too familiar with. I know she played the sister in Amy Schumer's Trainwreck, and she won an Academy Award for The Room. And she's been cast to play Miss Marvel. But halfway through the movie, she wears this gray tank top. And this movie takes place in the 70s. And I'm watching her and I'm like, wow, she has like the most perfect boobs. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but she's running around all over the place with her camera. So thank you, Brie Larson. Your future's very bright. I cannot wait to see you in the Miss Marvel movie. And then there's Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Mother effing Jackson. I kind of feel like Samuel L. Jackson will do any movie. Like, his agent called him up and is like, hey, Sam, I got this really good movie for you. And Samuel L. Jackson is like, I'll do it. And his agent's like, do you want to know what it's about? And Samuel L. Jackson's like, no, I'll do it. Samuel L. Jackson plays the Captain Ahab archetype character in this movie, and Kong is his white whale, even though he's a monkey and he's not white. He's black like Samuel L. Jackson. I forget my point, but there's this really great moment in the film where Samuel L. Jackson is about to deliver one of his famous one-liners. He's got all these explosive, and he's got the detonator, and then Kong comes out of nowhere and just smashes him with his fist. And it kind of reminds me of that scene in Deep Blue Sea when the shark eats him. A shark ate me. A mother effing shark ate me. Don't you watch my movies? I can't do a good Samuel L. Jackson. I know you got to say mother effer a lot and just yell at people, but we got to shout out John C. Reilly, who played the heart and soul of this movie. And he didn't overplay his role. He kind of had like the comedic crazy guy stranded on the island, and he played it perfect. John Goodman was in this movie as well, and his talents were wasted. They could have got anybody to play his role. So there is a post-credit scene for this movie, and it was kind of ruined for me because at the end of the credits, there was this one line, and it was like, Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra are all properties of Toho Incorporated. And I was like, they're not in the movie. And then the post-credit scene started, and it was all about how there are other monsters in the world and other uncharted islands. So my question is this: when they have the big movie in 2020, is it just going to be Kong versus Godzilla, or are we going to have like this big monster mash battle royale all in one film with all the monsters? And then at the end of the month, we had Ghost in the Shell starring Scarlett Johansson. It's based off the 1995 classic anime of the same name. And the critics have been slamming this movie. I think a lot of people going in are thinking it's like a sci-fi action shoot 'em up. They're expecting The Matrix, and it's not that at all. In fact, when I was in the movie theater, 4 people got up and walked out. I did like the movie. I thought it was a slow burn. I thought it was a good adaptation to the anime. They did take some liberties with the story, but they did take some iconic shots and iconic scenes from the anime and reproduced them on the live action screen, and they looked amazing. Things like the way the city looked, and the spider tank, and that one fight in the big sewer puddle. And of course, that opening scene where Major jumps off the building and she's in that flesh colored camouflage suit. Now, I can't bring up Brie Larson's boobs and say how good Scarlett Johansson looked in that flesh colored camouflage suit. It was worth the price of admission. So, no post credit scene for Ghost in the Shell. Let me know what you guys thought about Logan, Kong Skull Island, and Ghost in the Shell in the comments section. All right, let's move on to TV shows, and let's forget about Samuel L. Jackson, and let's talk about Samurai Jack, because he's back on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim Toonami, and I could not be happier. The amazing thing is, you wouldn't think it's been 15 years since they've worked on this show. The thing about a Genndy Tartakovsky series is that it's so well written, so well paced, and the way they incorporate the music and the special effects, it doesn't feel like a 22, 24-minute episode. You get so involved in the story, it feels a lot longer. One of the things I'm excited about is that we're going to get a proper ending to a great series. I believe they're only going to do this one season, so I'm hoping for a full 13 episodes. One of the things that's disappointing is that original voice actor for Aku, Mikao Iwamatsu, passed away in 2006. So whoever they got now, you can definitely hear the difference in the voice. It's just not the same. I'm kind of nitpicking a little bit, but I mean, right from the start, from the very first episode, we find out that 50 years have gone by and Jack hasn't aged a day. He's lost his sword. He's got this awesome beard. He's got this crazy Mad Max motorcycle. There's these 7 daughters of Aku hunting him down. And right off the bat, man, there's just action, and it's just what we expect from a Samurai Jack episode. On March 17th on Netflix, we got Iron Fist, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to save you 13 hours of your life, and you can thank me later. I think Netflix has done a great job with all the Marvel shows, but I think this one just misses the mark. I don't know if I can really point out anything that they did really well on the show. I think the story was very soap opera-ish. I think they spent too much time with the Meachums and with Danny trying to get back into the company. The fighting, it seemed very choreographed. This guy's supposed to be a kung fu master, and he's doing like all these little like pirouettes with a kick at the end. I think with like a show like Daredevil, it was very like down to street level fight. But him being kung fu master, I was expecting a little bit more Jet Li instead of less ballerina. I think when you look at Finn Jones being cast as Iron Fist, you say that's a good look. But he played him very, very, very soft. I mean, again, this guy's supposed to be a kung fu master. He's getting tossed around by orderlies. And I get that your character for the last 15 years has only eaten vegetables and the occasional donkey. But bulk up for the role, bro. Like, you look mad skinny, Finn Jones. Like, Finn Jones does not look like he can beat up anybody. But then again, what do I know? In real life, Finn Jones probably has like a really nice knuckle game and can throw some hands, but he doesn't look like it. One good thing I could say about Iron Fist is that the entire cast has really great hair. Everybody on the show has beautiful, gorgeous locks. I don't know anybody who enjoyed that show. I'm sure there's someone out there in the world that liked it. If you're one of them, let me know why or how you did in the comments section. Let me know what you thought about the return of Samurai Jack. Video games, video games, video games. You may have heard of this company called Nintendo, and they released their new home console, the Nintendo Switch. I didn't get it. I don't have time for a third console in my life. Between my PS4 and my Xbox One, it's like being in love with 2 women. I don't have time for a third. I have heard nothing but great things about the Nintendo Switch. One of the things that catches my eye is the portability, and I think Microsoft and Sony needs to take a hard look. Because if you're telling me I could play a AAA blockbuster game while I'm on vacation or on a long road trip, I am all for that. From what I hear, Zelda Breath of the Wild is the best Zelda game ever. Ever. March 21st, Mass Effect Andromeda dropped, and I'm not a big RPG guy, but I did pick this up, and we all know about the horrible facial animations. I have a friend who's playing, and he said all the cutscenes look like Team America World Police, that Matt Parker and Trey Stone movie. It just shattered the glass for me because now I can't unsee it because everyone has these really big eyes and very static movements. I mean, the facial animations are bad. It's not going to stop me from playing the game, but the game has some major issues. A lot of frame rate drops, a lot of lag. I've had to dashboard the Xbox a couple times just to get the game up and running. When I'm driving around in the Nomad, it just constantly freezes. I did see a photo comparison on, I believe it was IGN, and they had Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda, and they had two pictures of Asari. And the difference was staggering. Like Mass Effect 3 looked like the next generation game. And I'm just surprised that they put this game out and it just needed so much more work. We all know a lot of fans were upset with the ending of Mass Effect 3, and to have Andromeda come out and for it to have so many issues and so many bugs is very disappointing. 1 week later, we had Horizon Zero Dawn drop, and it is a PS4 exclusive. Another RPG game. I did pick it up, but I only played the prologue. And 5 minutes in, you could just tell that this is a completely different game from Andromeda. I don't really want to compare the two. I mean, they are RPGs, but the source material is totally different. But what has me intrigued is this world that they created. I want to find out more about it. The story that they have behind it's got me interested. I am going to finish Mass Effect Andromeda before I really dive into Horizon Zero Dawn. So let me know what you guys thought about the Nintendo Switch, what you think about Mass Effect Andromeda, and what you think about Horizon Zero Dawn in the comments section. If there's any other games that came out this month that I forgot, let me know. So there's a couple collectibles I got this month that I picked up, and I wanted to just show you guys real quick. I got this Spider-Gwen made by the fine folks from Gentle Giant, and it's based off the artwork of Scotty Young. It's a little bit on the pricey side for something so small, but I'm a big fan of his artwork. And what really sold me was the yo-yo on the string. But $64.99, and these are numbered. They only made 3,500. This is $9.59. I also picked up this Loki statue made from Kotobukiya from the Bishiju line. I did do an unboxing video if you guys want to check it out. If you want to pick her up, she is $89.99. She's absolutely gorgeous. So Repop, the company that runs New York Comic Con, had a very big announcement this month. The Jacob Javits Center where New York Comic Con is being held is under construction, and Repop announced that they will no longer sell 3 or 4 day passes. So if you've been to New York Comic Con and you know where Artist Alley is, that's the North Pavilion, and that's what's currently under construction, and it's not going to be done until 2021. So Repop says to maximize their investment, they are no longer going to sell 3 or 4 day passes. But here's the rub, and there's always one. If you want to go all 4 days, you have to pay full price for each day. Thursday went up $10 more, but you're going to have to spend about $200 more to go all 4 days as opposed to last year, when they had 4 day passes available. So again, if you want to go all 4 days, there's not going to be like a discounted price. You have to pay full price for each day, and I kind of feel like this is a slap in the face to the fans. I get it. There's less space. This also gives more people the opportunity to go, but what it really comes down to, guys, is money. Because think of it like this. A person who goes 4 days is not going to spend as much money as 4 separate individual people. I think I might make a separate video just on this alone because there's a lot to cover. You still need a fan-verified profile. 2 other big changes as far as ticket sales go is tickets, when they do go on sale, will go on sale on the weekend. I think last year they were like Tuesday or Wednesday. And if you're lucky enough to get tickets and you're buying for friends and family, another change is when you check out, you have to assign your tickets right away. Last year you had 14 days. This year you're going to have to assign everybody right then and there. If you go to their Facebook page, they did a live Q&A, and it's still up. It's about a half hour long, and I suggest you watch it because it's very informative and it'll answer a lot of your questions. It's just very disappointing because you have to jump through so many hoops, and there's so many things that you have to do in order to go to this great show. And it just seems like they're just making it harder and harder. But again, the demand for the show it gets bigger and bigger every year. Again, guys, in the comments section, let me know what you think about these changes to New York Comic-Con. So there it is, guys, the March 2017 Nerd Review. If there's anything I forgot to mention, if anything went on in nerd culture, let me know in the comments section down below. Check us out next month for April's review. Check out my channel, Krakens Comics, and subscribe. I'm No Lock No More, the mighty Kraken. Thanks for watching.